Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle Maidenberg, and I'm here with a very talented dietitian, Elise, and we're going to be talking about snacking. With all the transitions that are going on now, with the summer ending, parents, a lot of them are going to be working remotely, and many children, there's all these different configurations of how school is going. Some will go hybrid, half in school, half at home, some will be in school. And I think for both, they both have obviously their own challenges, right? So for those who are at school, I know they're going to get these box lunches. They don't really have a choice on what they're going to eat unless they bring lunch from home. That could, again, definitely encourage them to go to, get some candy or, whatever's in, what do they call them? The snack, I guess.
Vending
Yeah,
machines.
vending machines at school. Thank you. And then also just being at home and the weather changing, we tend, during the summer months to really grab kind of drinks and hydrate ourselves. But winter months, it's not so easy. We tend to go to the snack drawer and grab some snacks. So I would love to hear from you. What are some suggestions you have, with all these transitions going on? So Elise.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, sure.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elise Shapiro. I'm a registered dietitian, and I have two offices, although I've been mainly virtual since March, but I have an office in Harrison and in Greenwich. And I see a wide range of people. I see tweens, teens, adolescents, and I see adults. My practice is half and half. But as a mom of two girls who are 10 and 12, I see some challenges that are going to come up now that we're kind of going back to school in the next few weeks. And I feel like I'm starting to think like this is going to feel like March, April again, when everybody is just home and stuck at home without much to do. And I know in my house, right, like if the kitchen is kind of the center of everything, it's much easier to just go in and snack. So I just wanted to share like some tips on how to handle that for your kids and for yourself. Well, to start off, if your child is going to school, whether they're going back to school or not, it's really important they actually start their day with a healthy breakfast, right? Like that's number one. You must start with a healthy breakfast that truly does set you up for the rest of the day. Now, of course, I know lots of kids and adults choose not to eat breakfast, but I'm like a huge breakfast proponent. And even if it just means like making sure your child has a banana or grabs a yogurt or something on their way out the door or something before they sit down in front of the computer, that's really important. It gets your body and your mind going and can prevent that overeating later on. So that's really important. So
and can I say one thing relative to that? Because I know that it's interesting. I know even my daughter, she would complain that she can't eat on the bus. So so she wouldn't grab something, but I guess the positive silver lining is that most kids are not going to be taking buses. They're going to be driven to school because of COVID.
Yes.
So they can actually eat in the car, have something in the car.
Yeah, a banana, a yogurt. You could make oatmeal, put it in a cup to go and eat that. Like grab a healthy granola bar, toast. I'm like a big into like toast with almond butter or peanut butter or sun nut butter if you have a peanut allergy. So there's so many like easy on the go options or easy, like very minimal options, if your kid just is going to walk and go sit at a computer too. But breakfast is really important because that helps physiologically to prevent the over snacking later on. And then as for lunchtime, I mean, my kids are going to be coming home for lunch. My girls are going half day and then they come home and finish the other half on the computer. But for those who are at school, packing a lunch, it's interesting to think about like kind of packing lunches again.
Yeah.
Or
just when we thought we were over and done with that.
Right. And also for those who are getting boxed lunches, which it may not be the healthiest options. And part of, something I'm concerned about is that some kids may choose not to eat lunch if it's just not what they want. Right. So I would see from the school, if you're able to kind of like know ahead of time what is going to be served. And then this way you and your child can make a mental game plan of like, okay, maybe tomorrow I'm going to bring X, Y, and Z for lunch because I don't like X sandwich or whatever that is. So I always say like on a Sunday night, kind of look ahead to the menu for the week and then you can kind of game plan for there what you're going to bring. And then for after school time, and again, if these kids are working from home, try and keep the structured meals and snacks the same you would in a regular school day. Breakfast, lunch, and then after school time, like 3 o'clock, have a snack. And I always find it helpful if you have healthy snacks already out, right? Like veggies and hummus, edamame, veggies and guacamole, fruit, nuts, string cheese, yogurt, right? Kind of having those out and available. This
That's
way
a
they're
great
not,
idea. That's a really
yeah,
great idea because I definitely see the difference. Whether,
right.
when it's not out, they just grab whatever.
Yeah, if they're hungry and it's
Mhm.
out, then they're more likely to go for that versus like grabbing for the goldfish and the pretzels, which I have that in my house as a dietitian. Of course I do, but if the healthy food is out, they're more likely to grab for that.
Mhm.
Now, again, so many of us are also going to be working from home while our kids are going to be doing their school from home, which adds an extra layer. Um, so, let's say you don't have time during the day to kind of like prepare those healthy snacks for your kids. Maybe the night before, as you're getting dinner together, cut up the veggies, put that plate in the fridge. And this way, I'm sure you have to take a bathroom break at some point during the day, grab it and place it out. If you don't have that break during the day to really prepare for your kids, or buy cut up veggies or, baby carrots. I buy the baby mini peppers and put those out. Like it doesn't have to be so complicated. You can buy frozen edamame in a microwavable bag and stick it in the microwave and then just, I'm
Yeah.
all about ease, simplicity. Again, I'm busy. I've got 2 kids and I only have a few minutes in between clients too. So I need that are easy grab and go or individual packages of nuts. And you can even buy individual packages of not frozen, freeze dried edamame or roasted chickpeas. Like there's so many healthy options that don't take too much effort.
Yeah, and I'm going to also just add to that that a lot of snacks, again, if you want to be cost effective, and then also just in terms of portion controls, you could always use the snack Ziplocs. I love those,
Yes, yes, of course,
right?
right? Buy the
So
big bag and then portion it out.
exactly, to portion them out. That's, so kids again are more cognizant of their portions.
Right. And yeah, and one that I like teach the children that I work with is you never want, and it's okay to have pretzels, it's okay to have
Mhm.
all those things, but you never want to just stand in front of the bag and eat out of the bag. If you want the pretzels, take 10 to 15, put it in a bowl, put the bag back in the cabinet and go and sit and have your snack so you enjoy it, versus if you're standing in front of the cabinet and just eating and picking, you're not going to really feel like you ate.
I think that's hard for some people, though. I know it's hard for me personally. Like, so if I don't portion it out, I will definitely eat more than if I preliminarily portion it out.
Right.
It's like a mindset, so some people definitely, once they're eating, it's hard to stop, they
Yeah.
feel that they want more and more.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So if you have the time to put in the little Ziploc baggies, I think that's awesome. I think that's perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us are kind of going to be like in the house again with the whole family versus the summer. People are out and about. Maybe they've
Mhm.
done mini camps or something like that. And it's going to put an interesting dynamic back that I think we all need to just like be mentally prepared for.
Yeah. I wonder if you have an opinion about this, because I know there are some people that like I also work with, um, and there's kind of this controversy sometimes that comes up in my practice where there's one person in the family, let's say, that is challenged with overeating, let's say, and the
Yeah.
rest don't necessarily have that challenge.
Right.
So parents are always like, that's not fair. I'm not going to not have that in the house just because, that child tends to overeat it or tends to have a craving, for it. And I mean, what I always say is that we have to really think of ourselves as working as a team,
Yeah. Totally.
so like if you want to have that particular snack outside of the house,
Right.
that's okay, but having it so I always use the example, if somebody has a broken leg, you're not going to have chairs like streamlined so that
Right.
people can't get to where they need to go,
Right.
right? So I don't know if you have an opinion about that too, because that comes up quite a lot for me.
Yeah, it comes up. And also, right, what I've seen a lot in my practice is like one sibling is normal weight, one is overweight. So
Mhm.
similar, and that's very
Yeah.
challenging. Um, so yes, can you keep the unhealthy foods in the house? I think, right. I think while the person who has the overeating problem is working through it with a professional and taking active steps to work through it, definitely I would refer to the therapist on that piece of it. But yeah, I mean, if it's possible to like have that treat outside of the house. Or I will tell you, I'll admit to all of you, like one of my daughters hates fruit. And my pediatrician always says it's like the shoemaker's kid who doesn't wear shoes. And she doesn't even like when somebody eats fruit around her. And so, you know what? If I want an apple, I'll take a walk. Or,
Mm.
you know, unfortunately, I've had to like eat the apple in my little office, and it is what it is. But, you know, some kids are very, or teens or adults are very sensitive to stuff. And while they work through it, I think it's okay to
Yeah.
accommodate in some way.
And I have to say, Lisa, I think that's wonderful that you're so respectful of your daughter, right? You
Yeah.
know, because that's what she's asking you for that, and that's something that she needs from you, and you're being respectful of that. I know in my household, my kids, like I'll have snacks, right?
Hmm.
But they'll be the healthier version of it, you know, from either Trader Joe's or something kind of a
Of
healthy
course.
version. And they always say, you always have healthy snacks. But I know when they're socially distanced, you know, kind of
Yeah.
hanging out with their friends, they're eating other things. So I know they're getting it, and they are.
Yeah. Of course.
And if they're, you know, if they're with somebody, I would never tell them, like, obviously, you know, I say, yeah, of course you can have it. That's not the issue. You know, we just don't want to make a habit of it to have it every day, you know, multiple times a day. So
Right.
I think it's the balance also, like just balancing it all out.
Right, exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, but it is tricky if, like, you know, one person in the house is suffering from overeating, and the others can eat normally. It is a delicate balance.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Those are great tips. And I especially love, you know, this, you know, you gave kind of specific examples for snacks because people always wonder like, what should I eat or what should I prepare for my kids? And I'm going to also say, which I'm sure, you know, you tell this to your patients too, is there is tons of resources online,
Yes,
right? If you look up a healthy snacks,
right.
like you'll find hundreds, literally hundreds of examples, and they even give kind of right, like they tell you the amount of calories and sugar and
Yeah.
etc. So you know, not for a lack of trying. Like if you really kind of are proactive about it, you could definitely find resources.
Yeah, I would say just like be mindful and read labels, because I think some things like are marketed as healthy and then you read the label and they're
Yeah,
filled with fillers or
yeah,
artificial sweeteners or stuff like that. So it's important to, you know, be educated on reading a label. But yeah, there's plenty of things out there. And again, it doesn't you don't have to be making like turkey pinwheels or like ants on a log. It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't do any of that stuff for my kids. So I would never expect anybody I work with to do something like
yeah.
that.
And the last thing I'm going to say is if you do have any questions, you know, about snacking or anything, like the best thing also to do is to see a dietitian.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have to be some people think it has to be a long-winded, you know, relationship that you have to have with a dietitian, but that's not the case. You know, I think it's even if you want to just educate yourself, right, or find out what's helpful, you could just have a couple of sessions, right, to talk about, you know. And then lastly, I'm gonna just put a little plug in for my book, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's Free Your Child from Overeating, and it's 53 mind body strategies for lifelong health, and it's based on cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and also mindfulness. So it's really how our thinking, how our thoughts and feelings impact on our overeating. So thank you so much. You're a wealth of resources, and I really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Yes, thank you so much again for having me.
Okay, thank you.